Folks, have you ever wondered what the transition process is like from an HR standpoint when Compass One Healthcare opens a new account? Well, on today's podcast, we are joined by Shannon Watkins, HR Senior Director for Compass One Healthcare. She is currently leading the new business team for Compass One, and she's going to break it all down for us and help us understand the transition process. Shannon, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Hey, glad to be here. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So let's talk real quickly about your rise to this position. How did you get in this position and how did this whole role come about for you?
Well, it's a cool story. I've been with Compass almost 5 years. So I started in the education sector and did a couple different HR roles in the education sector. And the Compass One sales pipeline has just been overwhelmingly successful. And so I think Andy, my boss Andy, who's the head of HR for Compass One, and Bobby Coutte kind of put their heads together and put together a proposal to get some money and get an investment to create a team that can solely focus on the people part of the transition. So we've got strategic projects, which is a fantastic project management group. They really wanted to silo out the people part, realizing that clients were asking for that, and that was always a huge concern when a transition happened. So they created the team last year. Brought me over from education to run it. We were able to put together, there's 6 of us right now, with another one joining us hopefully in another 30 or 60 days. And we got our feet wet right in the middle, right at the start of the pandemic. So it was kind of cool. That's classic timing for me. So it was cool. It forced us to be even more innovative, to have to be able to work around the COVID protocol and making sure that we're keeping everyone safe. As we were trying to implement new and cool ways to transition folks over. So It's been super fun.
So walk us through the process, Shannon. Like if a new account sales goes in and lands a big new account, and there's, let's say it's a hospital with 300 some beds, and there's so much staff already there. How does that transition into your team taking over and saying, okay, now we're coming in from the HR standpoint, this is what we're doing? Walk us through that process.
Sure. So the sales team has been a fantastic partnership. Dudley and his team have been fantastic. So they've gotten us in even earlier than that. So we're in the know a little bit beforehand so we can create some of those relationships. So they bring us in with, hey, they've got some questions on the RFP around people, or can you get on with the client's HR executive and talk through? So there's already relationships created there, so we don't come in cold. So once we get the green light and we're ready to go, we'll partner with the HR team of the client, and we'll create cool little town halls or meet greets. So we try to make them almost like a pep rally situation, so they can come in, they see our faces or our mask faces, and we show them a little bit about the company. We try to hand out some swag. We play some music. And then most importantly, they have a face. It's not like they're just calling a call center, hoping that someone answers. They've got a face and a phone number and an email address that they have questions. They know that they've got someone real that can answer it. And we set the stage for the next steps, which is the onboarding and kind of training piece. But that's really the most important part, that first impression.
No doubt about it. And because we all know in this business, especially with Compass One Healthcare, that the associates, the hourly associates, the people that are on the ground floor doing the work in every day, really the heartbeat of the company. So to make that transition for them. And as soon as guys walk in, like you talked about, the pep rally and good energy and showing, hey, this is going to be a great company. Tell me what that experience is like for you personally, knowing when you going in there and seeing those faces and seeing everybody get energized about the company. What is that like for you?
It's the most fun, and it's different every time because the folks are different every time. So it's cool. I mean, you'll have people that, you walk in, and if it's a self-op, they've worked for that same company for 40 years. Right. And so we just want to, that's someone's grandmother, that's someone's mother, or you have someone walk in and English isn't their first language, and how overwhelming that would be if that was us. And so it's really just cool to be able to have those moments. And we have multiple town halls, they make them smaller on purpose, so we can really interact with the folks and say, hey, we'll be here. We know this is kind of scary, but we're going to take good care of you. And really just extending, I know Bobby leads Compass One with such a leadership of really being humble and having that empathy,
right. No doubt.
And really taking care of each other. And so it's a big responsibility for us to come in and be that first impression. And we partner really closely with the operations, the RDOs and RVPs will be there with us. But we take seriously that's the first impression, and we want to make sure that that's one that they feel part of a team that has that empathy and that kindness, and that we're going to take good care of you, and we'll be back on this day, and this is what you bring when we come back. And then we like to have fun. I mean, it's got to be fun. So, we try to do a little bit of a request your song, try to hand out little swag bags, and just try to make it to where it's not a painful situation. They actually feel good about the company when they leave that town hall. So it's fun for us, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, it sounds like, I think I might want to come to one of these meetings.
Yeah, for sure.
So Shannon, in this COVID world we live in right now, obviously, and if it wasn't a COVID world, you would go into the account with your team, you'd shake hands, you'd see face to face to people, you'd kind of have that personal relationship. In the COVID world, how are you and your team handling it?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I'll have to say my team has been incredibly courageous. So you have, HR professionals that don't have a whole lot of training from a healthcare perspective.
Right.
So we considered trying to do all virtual, and then realized that the folks that were onboarding, they go to those hospitals every day, and they're there every day. So for us to say we can't be there, but it's okay for you guys to come in and do the work, it didn't fit. It didn't feel right. So the team, we go in and we mask up and we bathe ourselves in hand sanitizer, and the hospitals, of course, are always really great. And we're just there longer. So the sessions are smaller. We make sure there's not, there's the room, the social distancing. We make sure that the desk people are sitting at are very far apart. That everybody gets, when we go in, we bring Chromebooks. We set up like a portable computer lab. So everything's wiped down. Someone sits. If they need help, we can do it from our computer across the room, but we can still chit chat. It's just distance. Everyone wears masks all day, and then everyone, just that person, when they're done, they get up after doing their paperwork. And same with the town halls. They come in and they sit in, big conference rooms with several chairs, rows really spread apart, and the person gets up there and does it. So it's a much different feel, and the folks have been, no one's complained about getting on an airplane in July when no one else was flying, or trying to be. So they're really a courageous group that we see what the associates are doing and what they're going through every day. So we want to make sure that we're at least matching as much as we can from that as we bring them onto our company. So we're there, and we've been doing it, and so far everything's worked out, and we've been able to keep everybody safe.
What's the number one concern you see with the associates then when you move into a new account like that? What's the number one thing that you guys keep seeing over and over? Their concerns as a new associate coming into Compass One Healthcare. Obviously, they don't know a whole lot about the company. There's probably a little bit of fear there, benefits and everything else. And what's the number one thing that you guys see every time you go into a new account?
I mean, I think it's just overall, consistently, it's just that change, which is everybody's afraid of something different, right? So it's just the change in general. People are, am I going to have a job? Am I going to have my same manager? Am I going to be able to do the job that you guys tell me to do? Is it going to look different? I mean, I think those are the overarching pieces, the real specific that you can feel and kind of see as they talk through. I've been here for 30 years. That's what they're really saying, that the change is scary. But I think the more specific questions we get are, to your point, what does our benefits look like? Can I afford your benefits? Because I can afford mine. And is my paycheck going to look the same? Is it going to be on the same dates? And so those are very tactical questions, and it's different. The payrolls can be different at each account, but really making sure that they have clarity around those benefits. We come back, we do a high touch education around benefits. We come in, here are the benefit sessions, and we come back and we'll help you enroll to make sure that you know what you're doing, and that this is what your old insurance looked like. So we're going to try to make it as comparison as possible. And don't forget this date. And, the team does all kind of audits. They'll run reports. Hey, these folks haven't enrolled yet, so we need to check back in with them and see if they are going to enroll, and if they are, help them. So it's a real high touch. The team has great relationships with the benefits department. They're great partners. We have a great relationship with the payroll department, making sure these paychecks have to happen. The first paycheck cannot be wrong, or late. They have to have their paychecks. It has to be the right amount, that first one, or we just lose all credibility. Everything kind of goes down the drain from that standpoint. So it's really making sure those tactical pieces are done consistently and seamlessly, and that's done through the relationships the team has with our our corporate headquarter folks.
Right.
And then also the good feel stuff and making them feel warm and fuzzy is also important, but you can't do one without the other.
Yeah, exactly. The whole process,
Mhm.
when you, from the first time that the sale's made, you guys first go in and have that big pep rally meeting, get everybody excited about it, the whole process, how long does it take from somebody who has no idea, from our standpoint, from the time it goes to when you guys really say, okay, everything's set up, we can move on? I mean, is it a month? Is it a year? How long does it normally take?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends on the client. So, I mean, we would like to say, hey, they're going to announce to their folks that there's going to be a change in the service or in the vendor, and then we come in a day or two after that and do our town hall. We'd like to have 6 weeks,
Okay.
or at least minimum 6 weeks from that till the go live date. Because that'll help. We have the benefits enrollment, making sure they have to be in our systems for the benefits to trigger so they can actually enroll and have that piece. I mean, sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes the client's like, hey, we need for you guys to start in 3 weeks. And we just, we try to, we make it work. It may not be as pretty as it could be if we had a little bit more, but we make it work. And it's not pretty from the backside. The associates, we make sure it feels the same to them, but it makes it a little bit less, a little bit more stressful on the back end. But normally we try to have anywhere from 6 weeks to even 3 months would be great to really be able to spend. And that gives us more time to spend at the account with the associates to make sure that they feel good about it versus it just being super quick.
And what have you seen as a result of your work and your team's work on the back end of it? Once you finish those, let's say it's 4 to 6 weeks of finishing that, and you're saying, okay, do you tell us what you see from your standpoint of those associates and their attitudes towards Compass One now after that time of transition?
I mean, it's fun. They already have a community. So we'll go back after the go live and do an orientation that we've kind of revamped and worked with the field HR team who's been great. And we do that within the first 30 days or so. But I mean, we can go back and it's, hey, Miss Shannon, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. How are the twins? I mean, they know because you sit and you spend time with them. They know about you, you know about them. So they already have a community network.
Right.
Now, they may not see me again after a year, but they already have that established. So they feel like they're part of a team, and then they'll grow their own team as the account really takes live and moves on. But to me, I think it's just they have people that they know and that they know care about them and care about their history right from the get-go. And that already makes them feel part of the bigger team. And that makes it easier for the business and the operations to really create that community piece because they already have it with the Compass One team.
Yeah. And that's the true culture of Compass One Healthcare across the board. I mean, it's that family team atmosphere. And for you guys to come in right from the get-go and establish that, they might not know it at that time, but then they'll see it later on that, wow, okay, from the day one, it's been this family team atmosphere. And that's pretty awesome. Tell me just from personally what you love about your job?
I mean, I love the fact that I feel like our team, I used to love to watch Scandal. Olivia Pope was the fixer. I feel like we can go in and actually fix stuff. So Andy has been amazing. My boss has been amazing, and Bobby and the team. They've given us the power. We actually can make change. So that sometimes doesn't happen with a whole lot of roles, to where you can make change. So since we own that specific process end to end, we can make change in it and actually make it better. So it's cool. Like after every big go live, our team sits down, we have that debrief, and we just talk about, okay, so what didn't work? What was painful? And we try to look at it from a standpoint of, okay, let's remove pain points from the process and tweak it based on, I mean, something simple like those cookies, we're never ordering those again for the swag bags. They were terrible. Two, that music didn't go well. Don't play that playlist again. Right. Two, the I-9 process was way too slow. So what can we do? Let's go with the I-9 team and see how we can we use a QR code for the background checks where they can just scan their phone versus having to email. So it's, nice. And then we can just do it. So it's so cool because you can actually solve problems and implement them and have the power and know that you're changing it, which is, right. So and we will never have problems not to solve, because every time we kind of unearth something, then it goes to, and as we continue to build it out, I think that's the most fun, knowing that we can solve problems and we make it easier for the business. They have employees that are actually engaged and educated, the orientation on Compass One and the culture, all the benefits and the payroll setup. They don't have to do anything. So it's just to be able to have that ability to make change and really be that first impression for folks. It's just been super fun to be
Yeah.
able to play in that space.
I can only imagine. And I think you guys obviously do a wonderful job, and you've got your work cut out for you because the sales team keeps selling and you
I
guys,
know, they're
it's like,
amazing.
yeah, it's fantastic. So it's a
They're
good, and
amazing.
to have your team come in and be the first like impression that those new associates
Mhm.
get is pretty powerful. And I mean, I know you guys do a great job because of the associates we currently have in our team right now. So
So much
I
fun.
appreciate your time. We are now going to put you on the Compass One Connections hot seat. Do you know much about this hot seat?
I have stalked you guys a little bit and watched a couple of your previous podcasts before this. So I do have a little bit about it. So, I mean, I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you some fun questions so we can all get to know Shannon Watkins a little better on the personal side, and we'll have some fun with it. I'm going to put a minute on the clock, and you
Okay.
just answer as quickly, as fast as you can. We'll have some
Okay.
fun with it. Are you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. 1 minute. What is your favorite thing to eat?
Pizza.
What is it? Beach or mountains is your favorite vacation?
Beach.
Last show you binged or streamed?
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton.
Yeah, I know. It's so mainstream because I think it's now the 82 that, so I feel
That's okay.
not as unique, but it was.
And it's a little steamy too, from what I understand.
I mean,
right?
it is. I know from an HR perspective. Yeah, I could have
Favorite
picked a little
flavor
more
of-
family friendly.
favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Favorite holiday?
Valentine's Day.
Wow. Favorite
Yeah.
athlete, pro or college?
Magic Johnson for the NBA. Lisa Leslie for the WNBA, because
Okay.
that is just as important. And then I think my all-time college player is David Thompson, probably for
Nice.
obvious reasons behind me.
I was going to say your favorite sports team is?
Is the NC State Wolfpack.
And look at that, right at the end of the timer. NC State
Yay!
Wolfpack. So for those people that are listening to this podcast or watching this video, just so you know, Shannon and I did not know each other before today. And now I found out that she is an alumni of NC State, as am I. So we can do our Wolfpack.
That's right. That's amazing.
Well, Shannon, thank you so much for your time today on Compass One Connections. You and your team do a fantastic job, and we're proud to have you out there being our first impression for all our new associates when a new transition is happening. So thank you for everything you do.
Hey, it's a complete pleasure. Happy to be here and looking forward to much success next year with the sales and the new business.